This is a mini chopper, and I have set myself the ridiculous challenge of trading my way up from this to a Harley Davidson worth more than £10,000. Now, I am not afraid to admit that I have set myself an incredibly hard challenge, especially when you consider my starting point for this challenge. But I believe that I can do it with enough hard work, a lot of patience, and plenty of trades. The sky's the limit. And hopefully, by the end of this video, you will have faith in my abilities too and believe that this might actually be possible. Because today, I am going to swap that and make my first trade. But before I make my first trade, I need to get that thing as clean and shiny as possible so that it is in the best condition for somebody to trade me something that is worth more money than that. So after a couple of hours of rubbing the rust with wire wool and tin foil, then giving it a steam clean and a bit of a polish, followed by a bit of a misting with nano spray, she doesn't actually look too bad. Now, I know I skipped the entire cleaning stage there, but the footage was not exactly that good. It was literally me just rubbing bits of rust with wire wool, trying to see how much I could get that rust to reduce. But she looks actually, from a distance, it looks quite good. It looks quite shiny, but I'll show you up close. It's not brilliant, it's not perfect, but it's all right. As you can see, it kind of shines from a distance, and then you get up close and you can see all the, the marks in the frame, the wear and everything. Like I said in the last video, these things, they are cheaply made and they pretty much rust within days of coming out the factory, like all mini motors, pit bikes, everything that's made in China, basically. It just is not built to last. Unless I blew the entire thing apart, repainted everything and refinished everything, which I don't even have the skill to do, and it's not worth doing on one of those. The aim of the game was get it fixed, get it presentable, and get it up for swaps. So now it is up for swaps. And at this point in time, I don't know what I'm actually swapping it for, because obviously I've just finished cleaning it. I now need to put it up and advertise it for swaps. So I don't even know if someone is going to want it to swap something for it. But the aim of the game is to swap a working bike, which that now is, for something that is worth more money but broken, hence equaling their value a bit. So hopefully somebody is willing to trade me something like a broken pit bike, or maybe I get lucky and somebody offers me a broken moped, because that could drastically increase the value once it's fixed and running. I don't know. But for now, we're going to have to pause while I put this up for swaps and see what we get offered. And just like that, it has been the best part of a week. I have treated myself to a haircut, and I finally have the trade lined up, ready to swap that mini chopper for something that I think is going to be really, really cool and is definitely going to be worth more money. And surprisingly, the swap offer came in almost immediately within me putting it online. I did wait a few more days just to see if any other trades came up, but this is pretty much my only trade option. Surprisingly, I had a couple of offers of people wanting to buy the mini chopper, but that's not what we're doing here. We are trading up. So in just a moment, I'm going to load the mini chopper into the van. I'm going to head up to the Welsh Valleys, and we are going to get our first trade up done. And just like that, after many, many hours on the road, I am back at the unit with a van full of new things. Not only did I do my trade, I actually carried right on through the Welsh Valleys up to Monmouth to pick up a couple of random little field bikes. But we won't pay too much attention to them in this video. We'll look at them in another video, because this is all about the trade up series. So let's see what I got. And here it is in what's maybe not so left of their glory. Ooh. This little diamond in the rough is most of a Honda Melody Deluxe, and it is 41 years old. And this is what is left of some sort of Chinese moped. Now, you're probably thinking, that is more junk. I have swapped a perfectly good running little mini chopper for what at first glance does appear to be junk. But that is the aim of the game with the Trade Up series. You've got to fix something and swap it for something of a similar value that is going to be worth more when it's finished. And these may not appear to look more valuable, but they most certainly are. And I will tell you why. Because although this thing is incredibly rough and at the minute very loosely held together, but that 41-year-old Honda Melody right there, a mint condition version of one of those, is somewhere between £1,000 and £1,500, believe it or not. Honda Melodies are very collectible. Now that is probably worth more on its own, even in the state that it's in, than the little chopper that I swapped for it. And the guy, while I was there, actually just threw in that moped frame and engine to go with it. Now that frame and engine, I have no idea what it is. I'm assuming it is a Chinese brand because I cannot find any markings or anything to tell me what it is. But that has got to be worth maybe 30, 40 quid just to someone as is to do something with. Or maybe it's just scrap. But either way, that was just a part of the deal. Or a freebie on top of the deal, I should say, because the real deal was on the Honda Melody. So let's take a look at what is good and what is very bad on this Honda Melody. The thing is, the plastics are all there and they are pretty much all intact. I'm yet to find a broken one other than this piece around the handlebars and the clocks, which does have a bit of damage there. But the rest of them are generally intact. Yes, they are a bit worse for wear. Could do with probably freshening up the paint. But they are intact, which does mean they have value just in themselves. It has the original clocks. They are all intact. And it has done less than 10,000 miles. It has all the original switch gears, throttle, controls, all of those are original and they are actually in quite good condition. The engine is here and it is not seized. However, this is on loosely. I have got the kickstart. I'm not sure if that is snapped or if that's how it's meant to be. I'll have to do a bit of research on that, but I have got the kickstart. And I have moved it so that I know the engine turns freely. Here I have got some brackets, some nuts and bolts to make sure it all goes back together. And there's a battery fuse or battery cover and a broken mirror. And a good point for the Melody is, because it's 41 years old, it is tax and MOT exempt. So it can be ridden on the UK roads without having to worry about a pesky MOT. Obviously, you do need to make sure it is safe and up to the standard of being able to drive on the road without causing a serious accident or something along those lines. But semantics. And then, of course, there's some things which are very bad. Very bad being it is 41 years old and it's Japanese in the UK. So, rusty. Very rusty. Let me show you the forks. Forks have rusted so bad that the suspension has broken completely. On both sides. The wheels. Rusty. Rear wheel. Also very rusty. The seat is ripped. There are no keys. There is an ignition barrel, but there are no keys. And it would appear something is missing from here. I think they had a basket or something on the back. I'll have to double check that. It's also missing the exhaust. And obviously this mirror is broken. And underneath the plastics, I would imagine the frame is pretty rusty too. But like I said, it's 41 years old, it's Japanese, and it's in the UK where things rust a lot anyway. So some of those problems are a lot worse than I thought they were going to be. They are probably going to eat into my cost of money put into the trade up versus the value. So they are going to start to even that out because obviously I started with a free bike. That cost me a total of £10.24 for some indicators. And this is quickly going to mount up because I can get a new set of forks for like 60 quid. A new seat, no idea how much that's going to cost. There's obviously new mirrors. There's just going to be a few bits along the way. If I have to buy a new Kickstarter, will I even be able to get one? I don't really know. But It's done now. I've got the trade. I was going to walk away from it, but I didn't. When I got there, the guy who was trading me these for the mini chopper was for his little boy, and his little boy was so happy to see the mini chopper, and he just absolutely loves it, and all his little bikes that he's got. So there was no way I could walk away from the trade. Plus, I've never really done a moped on this channel, so I think getting stuck into a bit of that will be good. It'll be a good learning experience, and it would be so nice to save this because it's been sat around for so many years without the love that it needs. Now, obviously, it's not going to get a full restoration from me because that's not really what I do, or it's not what I do at all. I am simply going to tidy it up, replace the forks, probably replace the seat, and get it running, and then look for a new home for it once I've added some value to it in order to get to the next trade. Obviously, this moped frame and engine will probably go straight for sale, just to see if anybody is interested in it at all. And obviously, some of that money then can roll over straight into the parts for that, taking us, into the value of that. So we can actually buy a couple of bits without having to dig into my pocket. And one of the reasons I specifically went to pick up these two field bikes while I was picking up the Honda Melody is because this contraption here actually has a Honda Melody engine in it, which does turn over. It is fine. It doesn't run because it's not all connected up and everything, but it does mean if there's any problems with that engine, I do have a spare one. And these two bikes actually only cost me £70 for the pair, and that one is riding, so much fun already. But like I said, we're not focusing on those right now. That's another video. If I take, which I've taken a couple of panels off the Melody here, and I've actually connected my jump pack there, and round on the front, we have already got the two ignition wires. If we connect those, we do get light. We also get horn and we get, that's supposed to be an indicator. Not really blinking, but they're indicating, I guess. No headlight, but then that could be because the rest of the wires aren't connected up. And the battery that came with it does not seem to want to play ball with my charger. Luckily, I've got another battery that I could potentially try with it because they're about the same. If anything, this one is a bit bigger than the one that was with it. And it kind of fits in place, so we'll try that battery. But before I can try the battery, I need an ignition and a set of keys, which is about 15 quid. So we'll order those on eBay and we'll come back to that. And I've just noticed that the mirror that is on there is possibly the other one from here. Although that looks a lot more faded than this one. Also, on further inspection, there is something completely broken off from there and there. So did they have multiple mirrors? I'm not, or some sort of metal bracket. I'm not entirely sure, but it does look like they unscrew from there, so replacements can be found. So, as per usual, I've gone into this pretty blind and pretty darn naive because it's going to be a lot more work than I was anticipating, but I think this will be quite a fun one because they're really simple machines, so it can't be that hard to fix. It is just going to be a bit of money spent. Like I said, it's going to bring my total investment up, but I think that is a big step forward in value. Or it will be. So to make sure I get rid of this skeleton of a moped as quickly as possible, I've snapped a few pictures. I'm going to put these straight on Facebook Marketplace, asking round about £30 for it, just to see if there's any offers. And I will pretty much take any offer that somebody makes me for it, just to get it gone and out the way and get the value from this thing put straight back into the Melody so we get one true value. But for now, that's about all I can do because I need to order some parts and do some research for the Melody there. And I've got some other stuff to get on with, like getting the Yamaha running and stripping down the frame on that. Plus, the 2 new bikes which are hiding out there. I need to get them sorted and start getting those sold to get some more money in to keep all of the rest of this stuff running. So if you think that was a good trade, trading the little mini chopper for the Melody and Skeletor over there, then let me know in the comments. Or if you think that was an absolutely terrible trade and I should have just held on to see if somebody offered me anything else, then also let me know. But I'm pretty sure I wasn't going to get any more trade offers. Or not one that I think is as good as this. And if you liked my ramblings this week, then make sure you give the video a thumbs up. And if you're interested in seeing what is to come and how far I can get on this trading up journey, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And until next week, thank you very much for watching.